Previously on the Coffee Social Podcast.
Jim Rohn always said, and why not you? Right? Jim Rohn's one of a business guru, motivational speaker. He always says, why not you? Why not you to have the healthy body? Why not you to have, the job, the dream job? Why not you to make millions of dollars? Why not you? So that's what I would say.
It's Coffee Social, the podcast all about social media and business. And now, here are your hosts, Jonathan Howard and Mimi Langley.
But after I've done all this, do I just wait for it to happen?
Absolutely not. And that, once again, is where we mess up, right? Where we buy these courses and we're like, all right, I've done it. Now I'm waiting. Number one, I always say take inspired action. And why I say inspired is because if the steps that you're taking in your business don't excite you, don't inspire you, then you're doing the wrong business. You're taking the wrong steps, right? So that would be my first thing, take inspired action. The second thing would be stay open to opportunities. Sometimes new things come and you're like, no, but that's not what I do. Trust me, I've been there, right? I can't tell you the many times that I was like, no, but I only do nutrition, but I only do fitness, knowing that I had this gift. So I just stayed open to those things and the opportunities came and now the brand is growing, right? And then you have to visualize success, because if you don't give yourself the opportunity to succeed, not to fail, but to actually succeed, then you're always going to operate from a place of I don't know what success looks like. And I've said this to you, Jonathan. I know I've said this to you, Mimi, and to a lot of people maybe that are listening. You have to, I repeat, it is a must that you give yourself permission to succeed, that you give yourself permission to see beyond your limitations, to just surrender to that. And I know I've said that, but I can't say it enough. Just visualize yourself as that person already, right? Stay consistent, stay persistent. It doesn't happen overnight. And more importantly, trust the process. I mean, if you keep wanting to do things your way, you're never, ever going to get to a place where you're going to be satisfied, because we always want more. We always want to look at it this way. And then we have this other, trust me, I know my husband's like, girl, if you don't slow down already, right? And so I just started to be like, you know what? You're right. I'm just going to trust the process, and whatever happens, right? I'm just going to let it happen the way that it should be, because I don't know more than the energy knows of what I actually deserve, because I haven't been there. I haven't been there yet. So you have to trust at least in the belief that someone has for you, even if you don't see that for yourself. But if you're not taking at least inspired action, being open to new things, really seeing yourself there, by the way, through the whole process, not just that end place, you have to look at all the parts of that success, right? Visualize yourself through the whole process and just keep at it, then you're always going to feel like you're failing. So that's what I would say. It's not necessarily waiting around, but actually taking the steps to get there.
I'm glad that you talked about that. A lot of people just are like, okay, I'm just going to say it and poof, abracadabra.
Right. Exactly.
That was so good, yo. Okay, let me go ahead. We'll dive into this next question for our speed round. We have, oh my gosh, girl. I wrote this question. Are you ready for it?
Yes.
Because I see myself doing this, and I know a lot of people do it, okay? If I'm going to correct myself because I realized, that I used a word I didn't want to use, right? I suck at this, or gosh, where the heck are all my sales? We don't want to declare that through our words, right? Because our words have power. We've talked about this. Is there a process of how to take that back?
Wait. I love this question.
Also, because Mimi doesn't believe me when I say this, remind her that her thoughts matter as much as her words.
Yes, absolutely. So those two things. Number one, our words do have powers, but our thoughts dictate our existence, our experience. So the first thing, to answer your question, would be to just acknowledge and accept your feelings. I work a lot with what's called the felt sense. So when you tell me, I just feel like I'm failing at my business. And you can ask Jonathan, I say, well, where do you feel it in your body? And he might say, in my gut, right? And that's where your solar plexus chakra lives, which is where your confidence lives. So that makes sense. It's connected. But once you acknowledge that, you can sit with that feeling, right? And then decide, well, is that my truth? Or is that just how I feel in this moment? And then we can obviously break that down, right? So number one, acknowledge, accept what you're feeling, acknowledge that you didn't mean to use that word because you don't really believe that, or that's not your truth. And then reflect, right? Reflect on like, how did I get to those words again? And a lot of times people tell me, well, girl, I don't got time for all that. Well, that's the problem, because we don't make time for ourselves. We just want everything to be quick. And I mean, I blame it on fast food, right? Ever since the invention of that, everything moves so fast, right? Our phones, everything is
not my McDonald's drive-through. They are the slowest.
Well,
okay, go ahead, girl.
It depends on where you go, because my Wendy's drive-through is ridiculous. But in reality, our society is moving so fast that we want everything now. Right? Before we had to you would be lucky if your letter made it to your friend, right? So acknowledge that, how you're feeling, maybe how you're back in that cycle of speaking those things, and be kind to yourself. We are write this down. I always say this, right? We are our biggest bullies. I'll fight you all day about it. We are our worst critics. We are the toughest on ourselves. And we want to always operate from a place of like doing better. No, but I'm trying to just be better or do better or be perfect or get it right. There's no such thing. As a matter of fact, I always say the universe does not allow perfection. It is part of the plan of our ever evolving process. Like, I'm not the same person that I was a year ago. And thank goodness for there not being perfection, because I wouldn't be who I am today, right? So practicing that self-compassion is really, really, really important. And then revisit your intentions. So like, if that's not what I meant to say, then what do I want to say, right? Just say that again. Say, you know what? I didn't mean that. And I even say, even like, for example, like, kidding but not kidding. Like, my husband will say something, I'm like, he didn't mean that, universe. He was just totally kidding right now, right? And then he'll do it to me, and I'm like, wait, you can't use my words against me. Sometimes we just say things out of habit, and that's okay. So we don't have to like freak out and feel like, oh gosh, now I've screwed everything up. It's just being patient, staying consistent on like relanguaging things, and seek support.
Oh, can I just say, just in response to what you just said, all I have to say is, whew, okay?
Take a deep breath.
I mean, seriously though, like, you don't even realize, and I know I'm not alone in this, how much we get on ourselves for not saying the correct words. Like, we really can be hard on ourselves. And so I just loved everything you just had to say. Just correct it. You know, like, if you didn't mean to say that, just
say,
I take that back.
You know what? I take that back. That's not what I meant.
I lied.
Yeah. That's it. That's it.
I'm a liar, universe. Don't listen to me.
Don't listen to me.
Jonathan, I like that for you, though. You should use that. You should use that. Okay, Jonathan, go ahead, buddy. I know we have some more. Yep.
Yes, we do. So what advice would you give someone who's going through a moment of like not believing that this is going to happen, or that they've been manifesting for so long and nothing is happening? Why?
Yeah.
Why?
This is a hard one, because I feel like manifestation is a long journey. I don't know if you want to speak on that part too, Yo, but
yeah. So my advice would be, again, number one, be kind to yourself, right? I challenge you, everyone who's listening, I challenge you to sit with yourself in stillness. Imagine telling entrepreneurs to be still for 5 minutes. Jonathan knows. I challenged him too, and he did it. And now he does it all on his own.
Wait, you sat still for 5 minutes, Jonathan?
More than 5 minutes. Imagine that. We make it through our sessions together. Imagine. So if he can do it, okay, let me just tell you. But no, seriously, like, I challenge you to sit still for 5 minutes and grab a journal or a piece of paper and write down all of the things that you have been able to accomplish, all of the things that you have overcome. I do something similar with gratitude, like for everything you have, and throw that in there, right? What are the literal mounts and mounts of things you can be grateful for, including your privileges, right? I mean, we look around the world, there's so many things happening, and we're here safe with food and with for us women, like we have come such a long way, right? And even just being able to be entrepreneurs, but there's still people that don't have those privileges. So just sitting with ourselves for a moment and saying, what do I currently have? Because the number one driving force for manifestation is gratitude. And I wanted to say that at the end, so I'm glad that it came up in this question, because if we do not sit and ground always in gratitude, then it's like the universe is looking like, okay, well, I gave you that, so you're not happy with that. Like, I can never, it's like being in a relationship, right? You always like want to see that gratitude for like that coexistence that says you do for me, I do for you, but I also take care of me for you, and you take care of you for me. So there has to be like this mutual exchange. That's why we talk so much about energy of saying, I'm grateful. Now, I want to make sure that I say it's not to dismiss, right, the feelings that you're having. I'm going to say it again. Acknowledge those feelings. Sit with those feelings. Say, why do I feel this way? And maybe make a little bit of room of saying, like, could it be possible that I'm choosing a path that is really not my truth? And that's a big one. I've been in nutrition and fitness for 13 years, right? But I had no idea that deep inside my very deepest soul, I had this gift of intuition and intuitive guidance and like understanding people and their feelings. And yeah, it came in handy for my work that I was already doing, but not like this. But if I would have just kept worrying about what everybody else wanted me to do or what I needed to be doing, I would have never even be sitting here with you all today having this conversation. So just being a little bit more open to, could it be that I'm not actually living out what I want to? And there's nothing wrong with that. And I think it can be scary sometimes for people.
Yo, I'm just like, there was so, I can't wait to come back and re-listen and re-listen and re-listen because I just can't get enough. Okay. I wanted to just ask this last question. We talked about the power of thoughts. We talked about the power of words. What about the power of writing? Should I be writing as well?
Yes, absolutely. So we touched on it just like a tiny bit, right? When we said there's different ways to do this. Some people are visual learners. They're not going to sit there and write, right? They don't have the patience or the capacity. My husband is one of them. He's like, girl, no, I'm not sitting down writing nothing. If you want to write it, I tell you what to write, and that's okay too. So there, again, it doesn't have to be specifically any kind of way, but yes, when you do writing, and I don't mean typing on your phone. I know this is 2024, but somewhere, even maybe the Dollar Tree or someone you can get a journal and a pen. Okay, they're still needed to connect with the power of your energy. Because when you're typing, there's an interruption when you're using phones, right? You're talking about technology and, a different type of vibration that's kind of taking over. So writing your words down on paper serves for a lot of clarification. And when you see it, that it's actually coming from your hand, then there's this really magical, beautiful connection to the strengthening of that commitment that you're wanting to achieve XYZ, right? And it helps you visualize a little bit better of like, okay, I wrote it. This is set in stone. And there's something magical about finding your journal, let's say 2 years later, and now you've made the $1 million and you go back and you see where you wrote it down. It hits a little bit different than when you see it on like a spreadsheet, right? It looks like work. But when you write it down and you go back and like, wow, I manifested this, or I sat here. That happened for me for my 2023 YoFit retreat. I wrote everything out, and I first started on my phone and it felt good, right? But once I put it on paper, oh my gosh, not only was I like boo-hooing with joy and confusion and all the things because I didn't know what was going to happen. I had been in quarantine the whole entire pandemic. So it was like something that felt really not reachable at the moment. But again, I went back to my tools and say, no, I do deserve this. This can be my reality again. And so when it came to fruition and I went back to that notebook, I'm going to share it in my stories for you, Mimi, so you can see it, and saw the things I wrote out, and all of that came true. The way that I wrote it out was like, wow, right? So it helps you create that magic that connects you to the reality that can be, but it also keeps you accountable, right? It keeps you accountable to, like, you said this is what you wanted, or this is what you wanted to do. So it really helps you stay a little bit more focused on achieving those goals, right?
And Mimi, I have a big ass notebook, like a huge ass notebook.
Can you show the people how?
Hang on.
Go grab it.
I love that notebook. Let me tell you. So we do soul work, right? So in my energy alignment sessions, for those of you who might not know, once we have our conversation and we identify maybe some of the blocks or some of the things that might be going on, I give you soul work to write out. And Jonathan has this literal XXXL notebook. Yes.
So big. Go on YouTube, and if you're listening, go on YouTube and watch it.
There it is.
He's showing it.
It's so fantastic. You can't even open it. It's so big.
Girl,
It
it's bigger
literally
than
it covers his whole top half of his body, from his head
bigger
to
than
his
him.
waist. I love
It's too
it.
big for this desk.
But it brings
my
so
God.
much clarity, right? When you see what's on there, even when he shares it with me, it really creates this space for clarity. And by the way, that was his idea, right? So I'm gonna give him all the credit, because he was like, "This is what I need." And maybe someone else, they might need to go old school and cut out magazines. I don't know. Maybe I have people that use Canva. Hey,
Yeah.
that's fine. But whatever serves you. But there's something really powerful about getting on that page and really
Yeah.
seeing it, like your thoughts really being.
And also, real quick, because I know we're going to wrap this up, but real quick, if you don't know Jim Carrey's story about manifestation, he wrote, he wanted to make $1 million or something, and he put it on a check, like a physical check, a bank check.
Yes.
You guys Google it. If I can find an article, I'll put it in the show notes. But Jim Carrey's story about manifestation is pretty powerful. So, all right, I know that you have something extra special for our listeners.
I do.
You're going to be pulling an affirmation card for us, for all of us as a collective.
And this is from a very special deck. We're not going to share yet what it is, but it's fantastic. And so it has a bunch of different things, right? There's like healing moments in here. There's practice things, reprogramming. So we'll see. This is going to be a pull for the collective. So for those of you who maybe are new to this, right? I started doing affirmations, or just using affirmations about 10 years ago now. And the biggest reason I started doing is because my son, who is living with autism, he was having a really hard time at school. And so long story short, we started to teach him affirmations, and it completely changed his life. And so I was like, if this is helping him, because I didn't know what else to do, imagine what it can do for me. And so now here we are, right? But so I'm doing an affirmation pull from this deck, meaning a special little message for all of the listeners. And let's see what the universe wants us to focus on. So since we talked about manifesting, and we also talked about believing in ourselves, what is it that we can do to kind of amplify that in our businesses? All right, let's see. This is a big one. This is for a big collective here, because we're manifesting like incredible audiences getting to listen to this podcast. I don't know, maybe 1 million listens, downloads. You know what I mean? Since we're talking in the millions, why the heck not? Why not you? All right, let's see.
Move over, Joe Rogan. I'm just kidding.
Move. Because this energy is thicker than my thighs. That's what we always say. That's what I always say. So I'm going to do 2 different things. The first one, I'm just going to tell you a tool that will help you, or help all of us, to lean into this energy of manifesting, but also believing that our businesses are worthy as they are right now, and everything just kind of comes together. So the first one, or what it says, is mindful meditation. And meditation is such a scary word for people, right? People shut down and say, oh no, I can't be still. Jonathan knows. And it's just about being still, right? Meditation can look like anything, okay? Anything you want. So my challenge is, going back to what I said earlier, is sitting still for 5 minutes and just sitting with the gratitude of your business that you currently have. All right, but here we go. I can't make this stuff up. Hold on.
Fingers crossed, Jonathan. That means it's good.
Oh my gosh. Okay. Y'all see me like shuffling these right in front of you, so there's no reason why I would even do this. Okay. It says, until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life, and you will call it fate. Carl Jung. Okay. So again, this is about understanding and addressing our emotions. Enhance this self-awareness, right? That this is possible for us. Like, if you really want your business to thrive, then think literally that your business will thrive. The more you focus on it's not thriving, the less it's going to thrive. So if you really want it to thrive, then take that out of the subconscious and push it to the consciousness and say, I consciously choose for my business to be thriving. I consciously choose for me to be the business owner that I deserve to be, right?
YoFit. Thank you, girl. Real quick, before we wrap it up, how can
No
people,
more real quick.
How can how can people get into your world? Like, we want to put the spotlight on you for a second. We're going to have your links in the show notes, but we know you have a website, YoFitOfficial.com, but is there
That's
something
right.
that you want to mention?
You can find me in all the platforms as YoFit Official. And the easiest way to reach me is YoFitOfficial.com. You go there, you'll land on the page where it tells you what flavor, what color you would like today, and there'll be something there for everybody. So all the things.
All right, Jonathan, go ahead and say your special wording that you'd like to use
special
again.
wording?
Yes.
So if you have not already given us a review on wherever you listen to your podcast, please make sure you do that. Mimi loves her 5 stars. We always play Sarah McLachlan. If she doesn't get 5 stars, she cries. It's painful for her. And we don't want that to happen because we want Mimi to stay happy. So give her 5 stars on any platform, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, whatever. You can't really give her 5 stars or whatever you can on Spotify, blah, blah, blah. Write a review. We would love to hear from you, whether it's good, bad, or indifferent. And of course, you can always find us. Where else, Mimi?
On YouTube?
Yeah, on YouTube.
If you
And
rather-
OnlyFans.
Oh,
No.
And
Jonathan, you're not supposed to tell people our secret. Okay, that's a secret.
Jonathan.
It's a secret account, yo. We can't tell people. Anyways, but you guys, we are going to end this with the most important question of them all, and we're also going to we're going to ask yo the answer that she has. Okay, are you Team Mimi or
Lord.
Team Jonathan, which is the only team you should
yo?
be.
Go ahead, girl. Be
I
honest
am
now.
Team Universe.
Oh,
Cheers. And as always, remember you
Cheers.
are loved, you are seen, you are more than enough. And baby, you are a diamond. Nothing can break you.
no one's going to answer that question, Jonathan.
Nobody's going to answer that
Yeah.
question. They're going to run away.
I think I need to pay them. I need to pay them beforehand. Yeah. All right.
I knew
Thank
you were
in
paying them.
advance.
I knew you
Thank
were
you
paying
so
them.
much.
Thank you, everyone, for tuning
Thank you.
in.
Thank you
We'll
for
see you
having
next
me.
time. Bye, yo. Bye, everybody.
Bye-bye.
Jonathan Howard.
Thank you.
Bye, Mimi Langley.